Respected Dean, Professor Abdul Wahid, Head of the Department and FDP Coordinator, Professor Pradeep Kumar, faculty members, participants, and dear students, Adab and good morning. I am Mohammad Islam, working as an Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and IT, Maulana Azad, National Urdu University, Hyderabad. On behalf of ATAL and Department of Computer Science and Information Technology, a warm welcome to all the participants on the 6th day of 1 week offline FDP on AI and QML. It is my immense pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Professor Parma. Professor Parma is officiating Vice Chancellor and Pro-Vice Chancellor, Sharda University, Greater Noida, Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Sharda University. He is PhD in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Roorkee, MTech and BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Delhi. Professor Parma is having more than 29 years of experience both in industry and academia. He had received various awards like Best Teacher Award from Union Minister, Best Students Project Guide Award from Microsoft in 2015, and Best Faculty Award from Cognizant in 2016. He had successfully completed government-funded projects and spearheaded last 5 IEEE international conferences on computing, communication, and automation. IEEE Students Chapters, Technovation Hackathon 2019 and 2020, International Conference on Computing, Communication and Intelligent Systems 2021. He is a member Executive Council of IEEE UP Section, Member Executive Committee IEEE Computer and Signal Processing Society, Member Executive India Council Computer Society, Member Executive Council Computer Society of India, Noida Section, and has acted as an observer in many IEEE conferences. He is also having active memberships of ACM, IEEE, CSI, ACEEE, ISOC, IING, and IASCIT. He is lifetime member of Soft Computing Research Society and Indian Society for Technical Education. He has delivered many invited keynote talks at international and national conferences, workshops, seminars in India and abroad. He has published more than 150 papers in peer-reviewed international and national journals and conferences. He has also published a number of book chapters in reputed publications like Springer, Berlin, Heidelberg, etc. He has reviewed a number of books for publications like Tata McGraw-Hill, Galgodia's publication, etc. and papers in journals of international repute. He is an active member of Advisory Technical Program Committee of reputed international and national conferences and reviewer of number of reviewed journals, example Springer, Elsevier Journal Computers and Electrical Engineering. His research interest includes computer graphics, algorithm, distributed computing, and wireless sensor networking, blockchain technology, cyber security and business data analytics, VLSI design, and cryptography. Now I would like to invite Professor Maulana sir to come on the dais for the session. Thank you.
good morning to all of you. Nice introduction given by Professor Islam. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. My friends, Professor Abdulji, Ahiji, Professor Pradeep Sarmaji, and some more. The FDPs are the platform where we can exchange our ideas, our thought processes with all the people, and we can have a discussion among all of them. I have been given the opportunity here to give a brief details or some kind of talk about AI and the quantum computing. So I am going to discuss about some kind of AI and machine learning model and especially the applications of those models. Let us think of why we are thinking too much nowadays about AI machine learning. Where the industry is moving around and what are the applications. There is a lot of buzz talk about the AI machine learning nowadays. Unknowingly and knowingly, everybody is using the AI machine learning day-to-day business even. Whether we are driving a car, so most of the time we are going for the Google map and looking for the shortest path. Or the path, if we do not know, we put on the Google map and easily we are reaching to our destinations without asking to anyone. And especially when you are going to another city where you do not know much about the city, and easily you go through and track the Google map and we are reaching to. If you are in a mood to listen any kind of music, you can easily go on your different kind of medias. You can ask for any kind of song. You have a different kind of medias like Alexa, Siri, and many more are there in the market where you can instruct what you want and they are able to serve you without asking any more questions. The technology is becoming very much, you can say, hobby, not hobby Hindi wala, English wala, hobby Hindi wala. And we are too much becoming dependent on technologies. And technologies are really serving us the way we are training those computing models. If you look at any kind of industry, they are using the AI for the benefits of their own business, for getting the better and better business models, and then of course the profit. And of course people are using the AI machine learning for the well-being of the people and optimization of the resources, infrastructure, as well as the human capacities. So look at the way the industry is moving around. The type of number business adopting AI is becoming 270% in 4 years. Of course, the data is at least 1 year old. The global AI market is expected to reach $641 billion by 2028. It may be more because, as I told, the data is a bit old, of 1 year at least. The more than 7 out of the 10 leading business houses are investing in AI. Nearly 1 in 4 sales teams currently use AI in their day-to-day work. Number of AI-powered voice assistants is expected to reach 8 billion by 2028. So you can think of the requirement of the people, the trained, skilled people in the market is becoming high and the growth is exponential. And that is why the buzz in the market is right. We as academicians, educationists, we always look for the industry where they are moving. There are few of the areas out of that AI is becoming one of the booming and the required in the market. Some of the areas like your cyber security, cloud computing, data analytics, data sciences are also some of the area and in fact the burning areas where the people are required. The demand of the market is huge for the skilled people, skilled students, and that is why whenever the curriculum are being designed, the expert people in the market are being interacted and being part of the academic council, board of studies, etc., where they can give the inputs or the expertise they are having to the academics in that year. The academia and the industry, as all of us know, is a gap. And every time they are talking about the gap is too high and it is needs to be bridged in. And therefore the national education policy came into the picture where the flexibility has to be given to the students, where they will be free to choose the courses at their own ease, at their learning capacities, as well as the field and domain in which they want to. And therefore, number of your program electives, open elective courses are being introduced in the national education policies, and the boundary between the sciences, engineering, since we are engineering here, and that is why I will focus more on the engineering, is becoming blurring. There is no sharp boundaries between the science, arts and the engineering. Since the engineering is the backbone of any of the country, and therefore the focus more will be on the engineering when we are talking of the engineering programs. So that's what the introduction of the AI machine learning, and that not only in the AI machine learning is required in the engineering programs, it is required in the business schools, required in the arts, required in the linguistic, required any of the area that is in the academics. So education, whatever may be, the requirement of the AI and machine learning, the learning of the courses, the expertising in those areas is required in all the areas of the education. If they are not able to get the courses on the machine learning, the country cannot rise. The dream of the leaders cannot be fulfilled unless we come together and start learning on the AI machine learning, whatever may be the requirement of their own particular courses. If we are talking about the art sciences courses like psychology, social sciences, even allied health sciences courses, there also the requirement or introduction of those courses related to the AI machine learning are much needed. And this is what we are going to see today when we are discussing about the application wherever the AI has already closed. Let's go through. So artificial intelligence is ruling almost every industry. The healthcare, the autonomous surgical robots. Recently, one of my colleagues got both the knees replaced and completely through the robots. There was no intervention, there was no manual intervention for any of the special doctor. They have trained, and whatever the inputs are required to the robot, they are given, and the complete operation has been done by the robot, and within 2-3 months After the doctor has advised to have a bed rest for the 2 months, and after that they can move on. So now recently one of my colleague who got the knee surgery is perfectly moving after the operation. This is what the accuracy of those surgeries. Not only the surgery, in fact the identification of disease, identification of the drugs, not only when we talk about the identification of drugs, the personalization of this drug discovery is more important. How much, what quantity of the drug has to be prescribed to the patient is much more demanded. It's not the way the earlier the people or doctors were giving the prescriptions. अरे यार चलो नहीं तो कॉम्बिफ्लेम खा लो या 500 mg खा लो. If you are talking about any kind of ciprofloxacin kind of antibiotic. Now, as per your age, as per requirement of body, the body whatever is required, accordingly you can prescribe even 400 mg, 300 mg or other drugs. This is what the personalization of your drug. In fact, if your body is not responding to the one other drug, another drug will be suggested by the AI, and accordingly the doctor can merge 2-3 components of the drugs and give it to or prescribe to the patients. That's what the personalization of drugs. The another field is your education, the plagiarism check. Must have heard of some of the tools like snipers, Turnitin tool. You must have been prescribed by your institute to have certain number of your similarity index. It may be 15% or 10%. After the UGC has prescribed their own threshold, and accordingly the institute has adopted. Virtual teachers, you must have heard of the robots teaching the classes, and the teachers, the robot teachers are teaching the students and interacting with the students. But of course we cannot say that doctors and the teachers can be replaced completely by robots. The human interaction, the eye-to-eye contact is much more required to have a synchronization of thinking processes. The robots may not give the personal touch that the teachers or doctors are going to give it. The robots can be a supplementary, complementary to a doctor or the teachers, cannot replace. That's really important to emphasize on. The retail is another area. Social, there are a lot of suggestions you must have seen on the social medias, giving you to interact, contact. Sometimes you are on the Facebook or LinkedIn also. You are being given the suggestions to connect with your particular person of our areas where you are already connected with the people who are expert in those areas. So that's the social connectivity. Finance, fintech is coming up, another area for the finance. In the academia also, the fintech is becoming one of the important area where we are talking about the finance as well as the technology. When we are talking about the technology, it's only the basically automation. The way the AI is helping the finance people, that we are learning into your fintech. So that's another area. Travel. Whenever we are going to book the tickets or we are moving from one area to another area, a lot of suggestions are coming on different technological platforms, and accordingly we are having a travelings from one place to another place. Not only in this, there are different kind of platforms where you are getting the comparisons, the costings of different kind of service providers, and accordingly you are suggested to choose one of the platform to book the tickets or something else. So the area of the smart home, sports, gaming, these are the areas again having the enforcement of the AI. If you talk about the agriculture, the seeding, sowing of the seeds through the drones, and also the finding the diseases among your trees or the plants are detected through the drones as per the training as these drones, and you can sprinkle the drugs, of course again, which are drugs which are AI driven. जितना quantity चाहिए उतने ही वो sprinkle करेगा. Then you can gauge the soil strength, moisture the strength, and accordingly you can disperse the water whichever or whatever the quantity your seed is required. Entertainment, as already told, as per your mood, if you are interested in listening to the sad songs, the suggestions will come of that kind of songs. If you are more of interested in listening to your dance kind of songs, if you are interested in listening to the classical, the suggestion will come for the classical. If you are looking for any kind of music for any other artist like Mohammad Rafi or the latest singer like Sonu Nigam and so on, the articles of those musics will be coming, and out of those you can select and listen. This is what the music industry is moving, and basically the mixing of the music is becoming another industry where the old songs are mixed with the help of the different kind of tools, especially the tools which are AI driven, making the mixing songs, and you can listen those old songs in the new kind of mixed up. Defense is another area, terrestrial network, on which the defense is quite a lot dependent on. You must have seen your war between the Russia and Ukraine, and recently the war between the Israel and the Hamas, where the technology is playing a big role. The war between Russia and the Ukraine are especially fought through the drones or the AUV, autonomous unmanned vehicles, and destroying and targeting the objects with more of accuracy than the humans are driving those planes. The accuracy is so much that the destruction, at the level of the destruction even you can decide on. And this is what your defense industry. Before introducing any other joke plane or any kind of your Azad, in the market simulation is being given to your pilots, and the basis of those training the pilots once they are trained, they are being introduced into the physical mode. The media is another industry where the lot of encroachment of AI has gone. Deep fake is becoming another threat for any other country. And the research is of course going on the deep fake. The tools are being made and the models are being trained. But the training of the models is still required to get the more and more accuracy. This is another area where one can seek for the career and look for the research or publish the papers, because it is still untouched area. So in these kind of areas, one can have the research and pursue the higher education aspect. Mobile, hospitality, cyber security. So these are some of the industry where already the AI has already encroached, and not only the encroached, has gone deeper and deepest in those areas. So going ahead, let us just think of some of the briefs about the AI machine learning, where AI, machine learning, deep learning. Machine learning is a part of your subset of the AI, and deep learning again the subset of the machine learning, where the manual intervention is required in the machine learning, which is not required in the deep learning. Who is the father of the AI? Anyone? Alan? Or anyone else? John McCarthy. He came in 50s. And Alan Turing has come, I think, 60s. Okay. So he coined this AI in 1950. Okay. And the working on the AI has started long back. In fact, more than 100 years back. Even when I was studying late 80s, that time also we studied about the AI machine learning. The AI machine learning, of course, we read the help of the LISP, which is also introduced by the McCarthy, Dr. McCarthy, John McCarthy. He introduced these programming languages. And another programming language that we learned was Prolog. That time, the computing power is not very high, and that is why the AI machine learning, though it was started much more back, but the models was not trained and the accuracy was very, very less. Today, with the generation of the high computing machines, high computing devices, as well as memory is not becoming a constraint. Earlier, the one room was not enough to store in gigabytes. Today, the gigabytes and terabytes are stored in a small device like pen drive and even smaller. So, with the help of the high computing devices as well as the high storage devices, we are able to create and train the models, and the efficiency and the success is becoming more and more high. This is the life cycle of your machine learning: data gathering, data preparation, data wrangling, analyzing the data, train the model, test the model, deployment and predictions. If we look at the basics of your machine learning, we got a supervised learning and supervised learning. Within the supervised learning, we have different models like classification, regression, etc. Similarly, in the unsupervised learning, there are different kind of models are there. And the another area is the reinforcement learning. So these are the major areas on which the machine learning is focused on. As I already told, the machine learning and the deep learning, the difference is in the machine learning, the features are being extracted manually, whereas the features are extracted automatically in the deep learning. So the automation is more the deep learning, and that is why the computing power required much more in the deep learning. This is the model for the machine learning, that's the model for your deep learning. Here the feature extractions are done manually, where the feature extractions are done with the different models of the deep learning, and totally they are in automation. If you look at the life cycle of the deep learning model life cycle is like this. We are getting the input, and if the models are there, or if it is not available, at least we can choose for some kind of references model. If the model is not existing at all, we can create a new. If it is available, then we can update that model and then train accordingly, then evaluate the model, and then we can have a grouping here. So make it more and more updation on that particular model and train it. The training keep on going till we are able to reach the threshold. Beyond that, if it is acceptable to us, we say that our model is trained and we push into your implementation. This is the workflow of the architecture of the deep learning. We are having the little layers here, that's the input, and that's the output. This is completed black box here. Here the input. As a user, we are more worried about the input and the output. Rest is the hidden layer. These different layers are given different kind of weights, and according to the appropriate value of the weight, so these layers are giving the inputs to the next layers. Of course, the one layer is taking the input, and this is becoming the layer, and after all the computing and the processing, this is becoming this is producing the output, and this becomes the input for the next layer. This is the example layer of the deep learning. The model is being trained for the damages in the building. So the upper model is being created for identifying the damages in the buildings. So different kind of images and features are being given to the model. Accordingly, the weights are being introduced here. Once the satisfaction level of your identification is achieved with the model, we introduced into the real requirement. So this is the real requirement where this model is being introduced. This is another building is being given as an input. All the hidden layers are here between these two, and this model is able to identify the area where the damage has been done or has occurred or identified by the model in the building. So this is the area particularly where the building is damaged. So that's the benefit here. Without manually moving into the building, one can take the help of the automation. Even you can use your drones and identify the damages in the building. This is what the benefit of your deep learning is. So if we look at the models here, there are two models here, two classifications here in the deep learning. One is the feed forward, another is the feedback network. The feed forward, the flow of the data is sequential. Input is going to the next layer, The next layer, the layer is analyzing and computing of the data and processing and further producing the output. This output is becoming the input for the next layer. So the data is moving from one into the another, and finally we are getting the outcome. That's the linear kind of model. The another model is, so the flow of the signal is from one to another one, that's a one directional. This is the feedback model here, where we are having the loops. So the multiple loops can be there. This is non-linear, non-sequential. Structured, non-linear models are being developed through the feedback deep learning model. The convolution neural network is comprises of the convolution layer, pooling layers, and the fully connected layers. Each layer is having its own level of role. Once they are able to produce the outcome, it becomes the input for the layer. This is what the diagram for these kind of layers here. So this is the input, this is convolution, this is the pooling, and convolutional and classification is done, and the features are being extracted, and finally the identification of the object or the whatever the identification you are trying to make will be done and given to you. That's what the recurrent neural network RNN model is. The popular deep learning model, and which is based on your looping that we have discussed right now, and the application of this particular model is in the time size predictions, image captioning, Google automation, and so on. So RNN is another very strong model which is being used, and this is the structure for the RNN. This is the input with the hidden layers, and this particular model is giving the complete picture of the RNN model, where you are giving the input, and this is the hidden layer on which their particular loops are there, and these loops are coming till the end. You are getting the satisfactory testing, and once the satisfaction of the level is achieved by your training model, you are introducing it to the wherever you are required to introduce. So this is the RNN model. So in the RNN model, there are different kind of one-to-one, single input and single outcome. That is called the vanilla neural network. And one-to-many, where you are having a single input and a multiple outputs. That's the image captioning. So you are given one, suppose one image is given to you. Out of that one image, the image can consist of your different kind of animals, suppose cat, dog, or some more other animals or birds may be there. So out of that one picture, you have given one picture as an input, that is the single input, but out of that single picture, different kind of objects can be identified. That is the one-to-many, one input and another multiple outcomes. Many to one, we are using the sentimental predictions. Many to many, again it is being used in the NLP. This is the example of RNN here. Our model is trying to identify the posture of the person, what the person is doing, and after finding out the posture of the person, whatever is doing, it's able to give the outcome as the person is dancing. So this is another example of application of deep learning in the computer vision, and the top picture is giving the picture of the traditional version, and this portion is when the deep learning is being implemented. The accuracy and efficiency is much more in the deep learning model than the traditional one. This is another localizing the object into the image, so that the object localization area where the deep learning is being implemented. Identify the object, as I already mentioned, that one image is given as the input to the deep learning model, and out of that image you are able to identify different kind of objects. The object can be cat, dog, duck or anything else, but in this particular image, which is the single input to the model, we are able to identify 3 type objects here, and those objects are being demarcated by your rectangle, which is the red color, blue color and the green color. So that's one more application of the deep learning into the computer vision. NLP is deeply using the deep learning. If you look at the AI application into the speech recognition, the first model was developed by the, in fact, named as a Audrey, that was developed in the Bell Lab, that was able to recognize digits by only single voice, and that was done in the 1950s. In 1960, the model was able to recognize 16 words spoken into its microphone and convert those sounds into the electrical impulses. That was done in the 1960, and it was done by the IBM. The another model is the Harpy model. You must have studied in your courses, and that was developed by the Carnegie Mellon University, and this machine is capable of understanding 1011 words, and that was one of the biggest success of the 1970s. The hidden Markov model was developed. It was recognizing the speech more accurately by predicting the probability of unknown sounds. And then finally, in 2010, we are able to get the Alexa and Siri, which are helping us in the different kind of the work which is required manual. But now with the help of the Alexa open the door, Alexa sing a song, Alexa identify this particular song for me, stop Alexa, start Alexa, and whatever the instruction we are giving, these kind of devices are being following you blindly. There is no question at all. I am just telling one of the research that we were working on, that the AI with the fog model. So already the research is going on this, the application of the AI, where we have used the fog model, and we found once we are using the AI into the fog model, the accuracy is increased. So I'll just go through this recent research that we are doing. So let us understand what is the fog computing. Fog computing refers to the decentralization decentralizing the computing infrastructure by extending the cloud through the placement of nodes strategically between the cloud and the edge devices. So with the help of this, we are able to have a better kind of services, that is that we call the quality of services. Latency is optimized and some kind of delay which were there are being reduced. So if you look at the model here that we have developed here, so in that case the real-time interaction with the your edge devices and that particular data from the edge devices has been pushed into the fog devices, and then finally are pushed into the cloud. Going ahead, this is basically the normal model where you have the different kind of IoT devices and which are being producing the different kind of your data and are being processed and they are being put into the cloud. If you look at the data and the application of those data, if the time is very much important and accuracy is much more important, we found that the application of the cloud for interaction or storage is becoming the bottleneck and not able to produce the result as efficient as which is required. And that is why we introduced the fog in between the cloud and the IoT devices, that is devices, and the model is changed and we are able to find the better results. This is the architecture of the fog computing here. So these are edge devices, fog, and this is the cloud, and this is the fog area. So that's the decentralization what we are talking about. Decentralize the cloud into the some of the fogs. Okay. So in this way we are trying to explain the way our fog computing is working here. There is a master node, there are devices, the data is being pushed to the master node and the master node is deciding whether it has to push to the fog or will go to the cloud. Depending on the sensitivity of data and the analysis of the sensitivity of data, we are pushing either in the cloud or onto the cloud. The data is very much time sensitive. So instead of pushing directly onto the cloud, of course at the end we are pushing everything on the cloud. But the data is very sensitive and time is very sensitive, so instead of pushing directly on the cloud, we are putting into the fog and making the other processing, finding and analyzing and giving the result, and then finally are putting into the cloud. In this case, of course, we could identify different kind of simulation tools. So you can see here there are multiple tools are available in the market, and most of them are basically open sources. Of course, the MATLAB is commercialized software, and rest of them are not commercialized, open sources. But out of those, we found that the iFogSim is being especially used by many of the people and giving the better results than rest of the simulators. So we used this, and using this model, we use this model for the data for the ECG, and we have captured the data from the UCI machine learning repository, and the different parameters are used here In total, 13 attributes are being used here, like A6, blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, chest pain, depending on the age. We have classified all those attributes and given to the model and tried to train that model. So as we know that the ECG data is related to the heart stroke, heart attack, and that is why you can think of the analysis of that particular data. Analysis is very time sensitive. If the patient is hospitalized in the hospital and you are fetching the data direct from the different kind of sensors or different kind of machines, and if your analysis fails or takes much more time and doctor is analyzing that, or the data, the analysis is becoming delayed, it can really affect the health of the patient, and therefore the data of the ECG is required the least of the time in which the analysis is available to the doctor, and that was our application. This is the methodology. In this, we have used deep learning neural network classification and with the help of the scoreboard scheduling, and this is the detailed methodology that we used here. Okay. And this is a framework here. So in this, we have used the classification. So already I have told that we have used the deep learning neural network, and then we use your scheduling algorithm, and the architecture already I have shown you here. With the help of all these devices as well as this computing and the model, we are able to improve the quality of services parameters. Okay. This is the basically flowchart of the DLNS model. So you can have the start, the data is flowing, the classification database is being classified as per the requirement of the model, and it is going on. And then finally we are scheduling of the fog nodes using the SBS, the score-based scheduling algorithm. And then we are having the different here. We are using one of the threshold value and the score of the SBS algorithm. If the value of the SBS is much more than the threshold value, we are coming to the action by adding more fog nodes into the model, and if everything goes perfectly all right, we are able to deliver the results. So this is the model. This is a completed flow chart that we used in our research. So there are multiple classifications algorithms are there. You might have read also. But out of those, we were able to develop deep learning neural network model, and with the help of your score-based scheduling algorithm. So having the deep learning neural network classification as well as the score-based scheduling algorithm, this is the merging of these two, which are giving the much more better results. So I will show the results also. This is the score-based scheduling algorithm. As I already mentioned, based on some of the value, some of the score. If the score is more than the threshold value, we are adding up the nodes. So this is the threshold calculation model. So some of the observations that we found in this research are the quality of services parameters. So one of the parameters, as we know, that the accuracy. So accuracy, we have used all these models, and this is particularly our model, and we are able to get the better accuracy here. You can see from here table. The specificity is another parameter, and that's also better in our model. Similarly, your best and average we could find and compare with other models as well. So we find the better one. Latency, you can see again here is of course latency has to be reduced. So in our case also it is reduced. So if you are using purely the cloud on the data of the ECG, the latency is quite high, and this is the size of the data that we used, and this is the model which is being developed by us. You can see the latency is very less, 479, and this is 2791, and almost it is almost kitna hua? 1/5. Okay, so 1/5. That's a great achievement in our model. Network utilization again. In the network utilization, you can look at the data here. Network utilization, network ज़्यादा यूज़ होना चाहिए, कम होना चाहिए, पता है? When you are using network ज़्यादा यूज़ होना चाहिए, bandwidth है कम, कम ज़्यादा, कम होना चाहिए. So यहाँ पर फायदा मिल रहा नहीं मिल रहा है? Betterment नजर आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? No? Yes. बताइए. So it's a better. Okay. So when we are using the fog and the cloud both with the SBS algorithm, we are able to improve the quality, network utilization as well. So that the summary, whatever we upload is written as a part of the summary here. We have improved upon different kind of parameters, the quality services, latency, accuracy, specificity, network utilization. So this is already improved. So this is more. There are some other models are there. You can read out. So these are models you can say predicting weather forecasting, flight simulations, earthquake simulation, tracking. This is one more last slide of my presentation here. The Industry 4.0, that the uses of your AI, machine learning or deep learning into the manufacturing sector, making the manufacturing sector more smart. So if you go to any other industry, they are using the traditional one. मोटे-मोटे रजिस्टर्स हैं जहाँ पर डेटा एंट्री होती है और डेटा को फेच करने के लिए कई घंटे भी लग सकते हैं, कई दिन भी लग सकते हैं. When you are using the smart manufacturing where every data is online available to you and the data is in the form of it can be a big data. It may not be big data also, but since we are talking about the big industries here, our data will be huge and will become a big data here. With the help of any of the model here, classifications here, and adding these two, finally given as a driver to your industry, where the industry is having different kind of your suppliers, parts, smaller, bigger, and you need to connect with the different kind of parts providers, part productions, houses, and the records and the equipment, whether functioning or not functioning, they require any kind of pre-testing or any kind of your maintenance. That particular report can be maintained, the equipment details, and the customers, which are basically treated as a record for any other industry, keeping the record of those customers, their requirement, their timeline, and whatever may be. So the timeline for different customers can be different, and keeping all those records into the online mode and processing, designing. If you are given to make a designing of any kind of parts that is required by any other industry, or you are basically developing different kind of parts for different kind of industry being the manufacturing unit. maintaining all those required. So this part is basically is a part of the manufacturing technologies, and there's a advanced analytics are being used here, and the network centric. Once you have everything on the any kind of data, big data on the cloud, or you can have your own server, and the application of deep learning, machine learning, or the artificial learning, we are able to improve the quality in the sense the quality of your product, better utilization of human resources, your infrastructure quality, the cycle time can be optimized. Earlier you may be having the 10 days to produce one of the part in a process, it may be reduced to the 7 days or lesser period of time. The capital expenditure, because there will be a lot of wastages, with the help of your different kind of models of the deep learning or machine learning AI models, you will be able to reduce or optimize your capital expenditures. You can analyze the capital which is available to you, and this will be a big hand of the helping hand to your finance, your account officers of the industry. So in totality, if you look at, and if you are using for any other industry, and it can be a big beneficial for any other industry. Why I have chosen this slide? In fact, this slide is very close to me, because we are working with a different industry where we are sending our students as well as the faculty also in those industry and identify and asking the problems they are having, and they are giving the problems, and we are working as a faculty with the help of our students and trying to find the solution for those industries. And I like to tell you that some of the problem statements were given to the even IIT Delhi. I am not saying that the IIT Delhi could not deliver the results. Maybe due to the time paucity, etc., they were not able to deliver the results that fast the industry were requiring. So initially, even we were not very much confident that we will be able to solve those problems. Out of the 4 problems of one of the industry, we identified only 2 in initial phase, and we told that we will be able to solve those problems. And with the God grace, we are able to solve those 2 problems for the industry, and then we went ahead with the rest of the 2 problems. This is the success story of another industry. Similarly, we are having some of the industry which are working on the traditional model, and we wanted to move on to the automation. Of course, the problems may be very small. In one of the industry which is produced the biscuit, and the biscuits were moving from your conveyor belt from one end to the another end. बिस्किट बनते हैं ना? Yes. तो बिस्किट बनते हैं तो एक एंड से बनते हैं, आपका आटा डाला, फिर उसको गूथा भरा हुआ और फिर मशीन में कुछ बना, फिर उसको पकाया, है ना, हीटिंग हुआ, एंड फिर फाइनली the end product is to packaging. So in the packaging, it was identified, in fact, after the complaints from the different customers, that the number of biscuits are becoming packed lesser. In some of the cases, they are more. अगर ज़्यादा आपको बिस्किट मिल जाए तो आप शोर मचाओगे नहीं, है ना? ज़्यादा मिला आपको, और अगर कम मिला तो शिकायतें आने लगी. Then they identified there was a problem in packaging system. So they asked in our university to find out the solution for it. Can we make it automatic? अगर आपका पैकेजिंग में कोई प्रॉब्लम हुआ या ज़्यादा या कम हुआ, तो you can take out that packet out, and that's the way one is you are able to optimize. अगर ज़्यादा जा रहा तो बचा लिया, और कम गया तो उसको पहले से उसको रोक लिए. So जो कस्टमर सेटिस्फेक्शन इज इंक्रीज्ड, जो पैकेट बड़ा हुआ उसके अपनी एफिशिएंसी बढ़ी, और आपका जो वेस्टेज जा रहा था वो उसको यू आर एबल टू रिड्यूस. सो विद द हेल्प ऑफ our faculties as well as the students, we made one electronic model. आप इसमें क्या करना है बताइए. इसमें तो कंप्यूटर आपका विजन है, इमेज प्रोसेसिंग है टोटल. इसमें एक सेंसर बना दिया जो आपको देखता रहेगा. पैकेजिंग हुई, उसकी वेइंग हुई, आप ऑटोमेटिकली इसको अगर ज़्यादा हो गया इसको ड्रॉप कर दिया. कोई बड़ी रॉकेट साइंस तो नहीं है. तो स्टूडेंट वेरी हैप्पी to develop those technology and putting into the industry and getting the appreciations, and that's one of the achievement for everyone. So now looking at that successful model of one of the company, some more company also approached us कि क्या हमारे लिए भी कुछ इस टाइप का बना सकते हैं. So this is what we require today, interacting with the industry, finding out those problems. By doing all this, you are closing yourself to the industry. ठीक है? Any question? I am ready to answer. Any question? And finally, big thank you for having the very patient listening. लंच के पहले का मुझे दिया है, तो उससे सारे बच्चे भूखे हो गए, सारे लोग एक्सपर्ट.
लंच से पहले का ज़्यादा बेटर है, लंच के बाद ही टू डिफिकल्ट है, उनको खुद भी नहीं आने वाली.
फिर आधे सोते रहते हैं. थैंक यू.
दोनों साइड में प्रॉब्लम सर, बिफोर आफ्टर.
हाँ. Thank you so much.
And
thank you.
On behalf of ATAL and Department of CS&IT, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Professor Maulana sir for delivering an informative and thought-provoking talk on artificial intelligence and deep learning. It was really a splendid presentation which made all the participants connected during the talk. We all are really benefited from the informative lecture, which was very well in line with the motive of the FDP titled on AI and QML. My heartfelt thanks to the faculty and student coordinators for smooth conduct of the session. Also my thanks goes to all the participants here for their active participation and support. Thanks.